but it's really just Jermaine. I do actually think Clemens will play a meaningful amount of less snaps than he did last week. He's still going to play, but I could see his rep count cut 10 or 15%. How? You'll probably, unfortunately, see a little McGregor. Maybe they activate Watts off the practice squad. Maybe they listen to what us and many others have been saying and experiment with kicking Briggs out in certain situations. I don't know. I just feel like he'll play a bit less than we saw last week. Still going to be a major liability. At linebacker, Kiko will get the lion's share of the reps next to Sherwood, which is kind of terrifying. I also think you're going to see a defensive back-heavy game plan and a lot of rotating in the defensive backfield, which makes sense. When you're playing a faster team like the Dolphins, you're going to want faster, more athletic players out there. And, Kiko is, despite likely also just being overmatched because of who he is and where he's drafted, is more of like a traditional fill the A-gap, run stuffer linebacker. I think you're going to see Malachi Moore and Tony Adams on the field together. I think you're going to see Thomas rotating in a corner and then maybe moving Stevens around a little. I think when Brownlee comes back, they will find a way to get him into the mix. I do think his primary role will settle into being in the slot, probably at the cost over time of Michael Carter reps. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. It's just what I think is going to happen. But in the vacuum of this game, I think you're going to see three different safeties play a lot between Cisco, Adams, and Moore. I think you're going to see Thomas find his way onto the field more frequently than we've seen in previous weeks. I think you'll see a couple different combinations tested up front. I don't want to go crazy that they have a guy like Tefele back, but again, maybe they're like, all right, we try him inside, we kick Quinnen out. We try him inside, we kick Briggs out. Anything that gets you a little less Clemens. And I expect the Dolphins to move the ball well and score about 24 points. And I think ultimately the Jets will force a turnover at some point. I also think the Jets are going to move the ball with Fields back. I think he'll have a solid game.